Hi, I'm John with Orange Modworks, and this is our Raider Massacre Kit, the front man. Let's take a look at what's included with this kit.
Alright, included in the Raider kit is a polycarbonate plunger, bolt sled breech, 6 kilogram mainspring with chrome finish, trigger catch, 2 trigger catch springs, a rear reinforcement plate, which is actually an optional piece, but if you choose to install it, make sure it drops in easily. It only installs one way, so don't force it into that rear cover. You get a pin for attaching the bolt sled to the breech, an O-ring for the breech, 10 grams of silicone grease, and 2 Orange Modworks stickers. Now let's take a look at how to assemble these pieces and make them ready to install in your blaster. Okay, to make your kit ready for install, first install the O-ring onto the breech and take your silicone grease and use the pointy bit of the cap there to puncture the seal. This one's already open, but yours won't be. Put a light coat of grease onto the O-ring and a slightly heavier coat onto the inside of the plunger. Don't just put a bunch onto the O-ring, because when you try to insert the plunger into, insert the breech into the plunger, the excess grease will just get squeezed out and will not give you an even coat inside of the plunger. Make sure everything's smooth, and take your bolt sled, hook the breech into it, and insert your pin. When you put the pin in, do it from the smooth side, not this side, because you won't be able to get the pin in all the way because of this little shelf. I would not recommend using a hammer or anything like that to get your pin in. If it's too tough to push in with your finger, just put it on a table and apply downward pressure, just to get it flush so it's not sticking out. Next, you're going to want to attach your priming handle, or your priming bar. These priming bars flex, and under the weight of the 6 kilogram spring, sometimes that can cause your plunger to not lock back. So make sure the screw is tightened down all the way to prevent as much wobble as possible. And I also would highly recommend using hot glue, epoxy, super glue, anything like that, well, actually not super glue, to fill in this area before installing your priming bar, because that'll just make sure it doesn't move around. Now carefully tighten down the screw so you don't strip it. And the screw shouldn't have too much problem tapping into the polycarbonate, but just be careful. Make sure you're using a properly sized screwdriver, and then when it gets tight, give it a extra quarter turn or so to avoid as much up and down wobble as possible. And also, well, there will be some up and down play, but that's unavoidable. And if you reinforce it with glue or epoxy, that's always better. And when you're priming the Raider, give it, it has to be one swift motion. Don't sort of prime halfway and then try and finish the prime, because that gives this rod an opportunity to flex. And from here, just install this into your blaster, screw down the retention rail, and install your spring and trigger catch, and you're good to go.
Okay, we do not have a stock Raider right now, but the stock velocities are usually around 45 to 55 feet per second. And this is a Raider with our Massacre Kit installed and stock streamlines. Alright, that's a pretty good representation of the performance you can expect. With streamlines, there's always going to be a big range, so just keep that in mind, but it's definitely a huge performance increase over stock. Thanks for watching.